Picture the world in the early 1970s. The Cold War is in full swing and tensions in the Middle East are rising. This was a time when the world was divided, with the United States and its allies on one side and the Soviet Union and its allies on the other. The Middle East was a geopolitical hotspot, particularly due to the ongoing conflict between Israel and its Arab neighbors. The United States and other Western powers were heavily involved, providing significant military and financial support to Israel. But this wasn't just about politics. There was another crucial factor at play: oil. Oil was and still is a global commodity of paramount importance, and Saudi Arabia, with its vast reserves, was a leading oil exporter. This gave the nation and its leader, King Faisal, considerable influence on the world stage. In this charged atmosphere, one man, King Faisal of Saudi Arabia, made a decision that would shake the world. Enter King Faisal, a man known for his strong commitment to the Arab cause. A steadfast leader, he was unafraid to wield his nation's most abundant resource as a political weapon. In the early 70s, King Faisal made a decision that would echo across the world. He banned oil exports to Western countries supporting Israel, a move that was as controversial as it was impactful. This was not a decision taken lightly. King Faisal was acutely aware of the implications his actions would have on a global scale. His decision was driven by a desire to protest against what he saw as Western favoritism towards Israel at the expense of the Arab nations. But it was more than a protest. It was a strategic move, a chess play on the global stage. King Faisal was using oil, Saudi Arabia's most lucrative asset, as a tool to influence global politics. Domestically, the move was largely seen as a bold stand for the Arab cause. It was a clear message that Saudi Arabia, under King Faisal's rule, would not be a silent spectator in the face of perceived injustices. Internationally, however, the reactions were mixed. The Western countries that were directly affected by the ban were understandably less than pleased. Prices at the pump began to surge, economies started feeling the strain, and the world was forced to pay attention. Across the globe, leaders were forced to re-evaluate their policies and alliances. Some saw it as an act of aggression, a drastic measure that threatened global stability. But for others, it was a wake-up call, a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of the world and the importance of fair and balanced international relations. With one decision, King Faisal had sent shockwaves across the globe. His oil ban was more than just a political move. It was a statement, a message to the world that Saudi Arabia, under his stewardship, would assert its autonomy and stand up for its beliefs, no matter the cost. The world watched in stunned silence as the repercussions of King Faisal's decision started to unfold. In the aftermath of the oil ban, the world was thrown into a state of economic turmoil. Petrol prices skyrocketed, hitting the pockets of ordinary citizens in the Western countries hard. The wheels of industry slowed, and economies that had thrived on cheap oil found themselves gasping for breath. It was a clear demonstration of the power that lay beneath the sun-baked sands of Saudi Arabia. Western nations who had long supported Israel were now feeling the sting of the ban. It forced them to reconsider the cost of their foreign policies. These countries, once seemingly invincible, were brought to their knees, their economies held hostage by the steady flow of oil. It was a wake-up call, a stark reminder of their dependence on this precious resource. Meanwhile, the impact of the ban was also deeply felt within Saudi Arabia and the wider Arab world. On one hand, Saudi Arabia was now wielding an economic weapon of immense power, showcasing its ability to influence global affairs. On the other, it was a gamble. The economic prosperity of the country was intrinsically tied to oil, and by turning off the tap, they were risking their own stability. Yet, King Faisal was steadfast. He believed in the cause and was willing to stake everything on it. His action was not just a political maneuver, it was a statement, a stand for the Arab world. It sparked a sense of unity among Arab nations, a feeling of empowerment that they too could challenge the status quo. This period, marked by economic upheaval and political realignments, became a turning point in the history of the Middle East. It brought about a shift in power dynamics, causing nations to rethink their strategies and alliances. King Faisal's decision had far-reaching and lasting effects, changing the course of history. His bold move, born out of conviction and courage, made an indelible mark on the world stage. reshaping the geopolitical landscape in ways that continue to ripple through time. Decades have passed since King Faisal's historic decision, but its impact is still felt today. A moment in time that reshaped the world, an action that echoed far beyond the borders of Saudi Arabia. Let's take a moment to revisit the key points of this narrative. King Faisal, the then ruler of Saudi Arabia, made the audacious choice to ban oil exports to Western countries supporting Israel, an act that would forever change the dynamics of global politics. His decision was not just a reaction, but a strategic move that demonstrated the power of oil as a pivotal resource, a sharp tool in the geopolitical arena. The shockwaves of this decision rippled across the globe, challenging the established order and shifting the world's perception of the Middle East. No longer was this region viewed merely as an exotic land of sand dunes and camels. It emerged as a key player on the world stage, its significance underscored by its control over a resource that kept the world's engines running. The repercussions of King Faisal's decision were far-reaching and profound. It was a wake-up call for the West, a stark reminder of their dependence on foreign oil. This led to a global rethink of energy policies, pushing nations to explore alternatives and strive for energy independence. Closer to home, King Faisal's legacy in Saudi Arabia and the Arab world is undeniable. His bold move not only elevated his nation's standing, but also gave a sense of empowerment to the Arab world. It was a message that resonated across the region, inspiring a newfound confidence and a sense of unity among Arab nations. In conclusion, King Faisal's decision was more than an act of defiance or a strategic play. It was a paradigm shift, a moment that marked a new chapter in the annals of history. From the sands of Saudi Arabia, King Faisal's decision echoes through the annals of history, a testament to the power of one man's conviction and the ripple effect of his action.